don't want to blame alcoholism on the mental health or the mental health and the alcohol. They go hand in hand, and that's the choices I made at that time. And this is where I'm at. But getting rid of one of them that I know I can control now, that's a good start. And the mental health kind of just follows. Eat healthier, you get healthier. So
Yeah.
we keep going back to dietitian stuff, but yeah, it's yeah, but I'm still learning too.
Welcome to the First Responder Families podcast, sponsored by Shatterproof at FHE Health, a nationally recognized behavioral health provider. I am your host, Ivona Bhadha, a director of family services at FHE Health and a family, couples, and trauma therapist. Join me for meaningful conversations and talks that support wellness and mental health of first responders and their families. Hello, everybody. Ivona Bhadha is here with special guests for our First Responder Families podcast episode on building balance and exploring mental health as a lifelong practice. So, hello, I have Tyler and Sam here. And we have a little bit of history. We met a year ago, and it might have been called like the beginning of your journey of recovery, healing, self-care. And I am curious to know how did you think of mental health or the need for mental health recovery and maintenance before you came to our healing place?
So actually, this was not my first go around. I was actually in Florida House in 2018. I was involved in a critical incident at work, and afterwards, I started drinking, and that's when the whole mental health aspect kind of came into play. I knew something was going on, something wasn't right, and of course, in our profession, our jobs, you're told kind of just suck it up and go through with it, and that's kind of what I did, and I ended up resorting to drinking, and that was my way to fix things. And I guess after I tried that, and I came down to Florida House, I realized that there was more to the drinking, go to sleep every night, and that's when I really kind of dove into the whole mental health aspect of things. My first go around was great, and I kind of that was my first introduction to mental health. Of course,
Mhm.
in our line of work, it's constantly we deal with a lot of mental health patients, and
Yeah.
it's our job to help those people,
Mhm.
get better. And it's really hard for us to kind of ask for that. We're used to doing it for other people, and
Mhm.
I think that was the hardest hurdle to jump over, is to finally asking for it. And I was the first time down there in 2018. As much as I wanted to go, it was more of like I had to go. Um, and that was great. We were together at the time, and it was tough. It was definitely a tough time, and I came out of that definitely learning a lot. Um, we ended up breaking up during that time and
Mm.
getting back together actually after going to Florida House and me getting better. Unfortunately, the symptoms came back
Mhm.
this past year, and this last time I started drinking again, and this last time it was kind of I went all in. And
Mm.
as you said, as the first time, this kind of was my first time. I was really all into it. Last time I thought I just come down there and I'm cured after a month,
Mm.
and I realized there's a lot of work in the mental health aspect of things to really work on after that.
Mm.
And so now, from where I started thinking it was something you just go to a place, you stay a month there, and you come out better. That's
Mm.
how I thought mental health worked, and the people we brought to the hospital and stuff. That's how they got better. But I realize it's a evolving thing, and that's really where I'm at now, and I'm still constantly working on it. And that was, yeah, I can say the last time there was my introduction to actual mental health. So that was cool.
Yeah. What a really nice, self-reflection and the mindset that you had first time, and then you came all the way in and you set all the way down, and started really approaching the mental health recovery, as a work that you have to do for yourself. Yeah. Yeah. What was it like for you, Sam? First time, second time.
I think it was actually harder for her.
Oh man. I'm gonna try and not get upset. Uh, yeah, it was a lot. The first time, you know, I didn't know it was that bad, and I came from addiction in my family, so I kind of put up this wall, and I didn't really want to know about it, right? And then, like, I just wanted it out of my life, and then uh, we got back together and things, we got engaged. You're celebrating, you're drinking, you're doing all the fun things.
Mhm.
And then as the years were going on, I just saw it get worse and worse. And now I'm not just dating him, I'm married to him.
Mhm.
So I felt I totally felt a different way this time around, the last time around. And it was it was a lot. It was a lot. And I had to, we work in the same place,
Mhm.
so we see that, the same people. So
It must be tough, or it must have been tough.
it was very difficult.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
very, very difficult for me. So, and for him too, it was, but this time I couldn't give up, and then Ray called me and said, I want you to do these meetings.
Mm.
They're Monday nights. They're with
Mhm.
a group of other women.
Mhm.
And I was just like, no, no, no. I just want this month to be alone, to not worry about, there was so much stress in my house, so much stress. And I just wanted calm. And
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
Monday night meetings with you were the best things that I ever did.
Mhm.
And it was just so nice to form a group and to sit on the couch and listen and to talk to other people, and it really, really helped me heal. um and then when he got home, we healed together, really. uh
Mhm.
but we didn't give up.
Mhm. Yeah. So you overcame the hardship, how hard it was. You got engaged. I mean, you were engaged, but you got engaged in treatment. And even you, Sam, in a parallel way, you came all the way in, and
Yeah,
became a part of the group.
yeah, this last time that he was there, we were already married.
Yeah.
So we um
Mhm.
yeah, the first time we were just dating, and then
Mhm.
he came home, and then we got engaged, got married, and then yeah. So
Yeah.
Actually, the second time around was actually my choice. I told her, we were in the car. I said I
Mhm.
need to go to Florida. It's hitting that point where I didn't want it to get worse, and I told her, and right away, she's like,
Mhm.
okay. The first thing she said, I think, was, well, I'm going to be here when you get back, and that made it so much easier.
Wow.
Uh,
Mhm.
what you guys did for the family thing, I heard more about the family thing than that's all. Every conversation, every night that we had was all about, I can't wait for Monday or the meeting's coming up. And
Mhm.
her to really go and get into that was amazing. And I thank you guys for that because that helped a lot. Her being part of the family thing really helped kind of understand, I guess, what we were doing down there. Uh,
Mhm.
the group support and a common interest. It was all spouses and of people down there, and that's you really bond over that stuff. And it was cool for her to have a support group up
hmm
here while I had my own support group down there.
hmm
I so appreciate that you are highlighting it and that you are,
No, it was
um,
actually really amazing.
yeah. And it's also a testimony that safe community helps people to heal. Whatever burdens they carry, whatever the pain is there, the symptoms, as long as it's safe and it promotes healing, authenticity, authentic expression. It's all about healing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it was the community that really held you both, even you were healing parallel in separate groups, but then you were more prepared to meet back home.
Yeah.
The whole environment, but new mindset and new you
Yeah.
in a way.
What really helped me was I was still talking to you when he came home.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
was for like 3 or 4 weeks. And
Hmm.
that helped because that's a whole other transition.
Yes. Yes.
Now, him coming home and just like you can't just pick up from where you were. There's so much damage and there's so much healing that needs to happen. So, but
Hmm.
those meetings helped because other women that I was close to, they were going through the same thing. Like their husbands came home, I maybe 2 days after Tyler came home, and
Hmm.
so it was nice to hear what they were saying. And some stories were very hard to hear, and then it makes you look at your life and say, okay, well, it's not as bad, and
Hmm.
or one day might be just as bad. It was nice to just get different stories from different people.
Yeah. To learn about how other people are responding or reacting to returning home. Yeah. And how they integrating, especially shatterproof patients, graduates, how they integrating their healing maybe into the old stress, right?
Yeah.
That was the hardest part of coming back is you're kind of in your own little bubble down there.
Yeah.
And when you do come
Mhm.
back, it's kind of I have a maintenance program. I go to classes still once a week. I try to get there once or twice a week to a group that we have up here by us, and that helps a lot. Um, I did it as a requirement right after, not a requirement by anybody, requirement that we made up that to complete the program. I made sure I wanted to do all that, and now even though I graduated and stuff, the first time once I graduated, I stopped going and I white knuckled everything. Just things that I was thinking and just cravings. I did that for a long time, just the white knuckles, and that was hard. And now the maintenance is easy. I'm up to a year and a half now, and
Mhm.
it's I don't even think about it, and
Uh-huh.
it's
It's automatic. And I hope listeners are really picking up that, it's just kind of like, okay, I commit for 3 months after treatment. And then you notice that something is working, having that space and others, who can witness your life as you are going through different ups and downs.
Mhm.
What made you to choose to continue, even you don't have to? And what is it offering you? Um,
because I knew I was going back to work, and coming back with a clear mind and a different mindset. Of course, you're going to be nervous at first. Everybody's going to be nervous that first day back, um, and it was just having the mindset, a clear head going on the road and knowing that you have a new love for the job. And it was great getting back on the road. The first couple calls, it was kind of like riding a bike, but knowing you have that meeting to still go to at the end of the week or the beginning of the week, however the schedule falls, it's nice to know that you still have a support group. It's not like you graduated and you move on and you forget about all that. It continues afterwards, and I'm gonna keep continuing doing it until I can't do it anymore. It's just nice to have that, and you make good friends there, and it's the maintenance that really helps. and I didn't want to believe that the first time, and unfortunately, I learned from my mistakes. So
But
And now you are sharing with others, to pay attention to their mindset that they have about aftercare. Yeah. Sam, go ahead.
no, I mean, when he came back, I think even when you were there, when we were talking, I said, well, I'm going to stop drinking.
so I didn't know if you're
Oh,
And so
She's been
that
sober just as long as me.
oh,
that's
oh.
the drink. It was Christmas Eve of 2023. And then when you see someone drinking so much, you don't want to drink so I wasn't drinking when he left in January. And then when he came back, he's like, oh, you can still do that. And I'm like, no.
Mm,
So it's hard. It's hard for me. I mean, he's been so strong. It's definitely difficult. I miss the social aspect of it, but it has made our marriage so much stronger. And
mm.
I would pick our marriage over a drink any day.
Yeah, you would take the marriage over that social aspect of drinking. And
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things out of sight, out of mind. So I like
Mhm.
we, yeah, we still hang out with friends and whatnot, but it's easier to do that when you have a partner and you know that he's not drinking and I'm not drinking, so we have each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
I
whole
understand.
social aspect. Hmm.
Yeah. Like you are like a peer support to each other in a way with that. You have chosen the same lifestyle. It is a choice, you know. And I'm imagining that that makes you a very, very unique, couple in the world, and also what I hear is the continuum of not giving up, and just put your marriage really high, on that hierarchy of values. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
which
you,
is
you have to.
very, very
If you don't,
special.
yeah, if you don't have that, then what's the point of going through all of that?
Mhm.
You know, but he's making it. He's showing me that he's taking this seriously.
Mhm.
So I'm going to take it seriously to help him out. So we're helping each other out.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
don't know if she knows, but she's helping me as well. Having her not
Mhm.
drink is, of
Mhm.
course, I told, do whatever you want. You can, of
Yeah.
course, you can have something. It's not going to bother me or anything like that. But just knowing that is great. And I've been a long period of time where I didn't drink after the first time. So like I was used to living like that, and helping her, like just seeing how other people react to alcohol. Like she never had a problem anything with drinking or anything like that. But her to say like, oh, I do miss a glass of wine. It's other people have, even though there's no drinking problem, it's nice to see that, oh, I wasn't crazy, that something like this took over my life and stuff like that. So it is really cool to kind of help her out and know that we can do things that don't involve us sitting at the brewery playing a board game, or you know
Mhm.
we can go see a band and see the whole show and actually enjoy the show.
Hmm.
It's cool. It opens up a whole new life, and like you said, it's like dating all over again, and
Mhm.
it's cool. So the integration for life back from rehab is what I guess you really make it, because the second time was way better than the first time.
Right, right. You made it, better, just the way how
The
you.
second time is not over yet. I know it's going to continue until forever. So it's just something that you got to do.
Hmm.
You can't. As much as I'd love to stay in that little bubble forever, you have to find a way. It's going to be uncomfortable, but you have to get through that first uncomfortable bit.
Yeah. Would you say that really the commitment to be sober that makes those setbacks in life, or some stress in life at work easier?
Yeah, 100%.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
the stress level is definitely, you're removing the most stress that was in my life. Yeah, work is up there, but
mm,
the drinking and you know, going to sleep every night. I'd have dreams of the shooting every night, and that was the biggest part of the stress, and I never realized that. I used everything else to cover it up, and it was only creating more stress. And now knowing I don't have to worry about that part for now,
mhm,
I'm not making it worse or putting a band-aid on it. That
mhm,
takes away a lot, and things kind of got easier at work.
mhm, mm.
Yeah, it really. Don't get me wrong; it's still stressful.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
easier to manage that stress.
Mhm,
It definitely is, and especially having her support and everything,
mm.
it really does. It's gotten better. So yes.
That's beautiful. That's the beauty of how healthy relationship that you are helping each other to achieve the best versions of yourself, and you're supporting each other in the culture and also communities where drinking is so prevalent and so okay. You are actually, very special, very unique. And when you have each other's back with this choice of lifestyle, I can imagine how it is. It's your new norm, new normal. Mm, yeah, yeah.
Well,
What? Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying it was cool to have that ride with somebody like
Oh, yeah.
recovery, newly in recovery, coming out. Like, her first question is like, "Well, where do we go tonight?"
Mhm.
And it's cool to have somebody else to go with. When it
Yeah.
was just me not drinking, it was very, very hard. And
Mm,
now that it's both of us, it's we find other stuff.
yeah. I'm glad that you're bringing that up. There is also a way like this. People just don't maybe give themselves enough chance, or trying that out.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah. And
Mm.
we love seltzer. That's our. we
Yeah,
have, we have,
I,
we have
I
all different
that's
kinds of
it.
seltzer.
Don't substitute one for another. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's a great alternative, healthy alternative.
You're
Yeah.
crushing 30 packs of
Yeah.
seltzer.
Yeah.
But I really love this life that we have formed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's touching when you just say it.
Mhm.
It sounds so simple, but it's not easy to create soberful life and relationship that is based on, being sober together. Mm.
No, it was work and it's still work, but it's the work that's worth it.
Mm. It's it's the work that is worth it. Yeah, yeah. So it's not like futile, or, doesn't end in helplessness. It's worth it.
Yeah.
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 Going towards a goal.
Yes.
Yes, yes. So in some ways, you are talking about growth, and with overcoming a lot of trauma from your work, it's a post-traumatic growth. So you couldn't really go to the second time after Shatterproof. You couldn't really go to the old or where you left off. You really took it into a new.
Oh yeah.
And that's what is really resilience in the workings. You use your resiliency to yeah, to do this sober full life together.
I'd like to say it was easier going back the second time. It was tenfold harder. It was hard to swallow your pride and, really say like I just give up. And
Mm,
it was great. The stopping the drinking part, that was the easy part. It was really working on myself while
mm.
I was down there and putting in the work. I always thought somebody's like, you got to put in the work. I'm like, how much work can you put in? You're going to classes all day, but it's not physical or really even mental work. It's just the thought process and putting in the mindset. It's
Mindset.
yeah,
Mhm.
I kind of really got what putting in the work was. It was,
Mhm.
really working on yourself and
Mhm.
finding the root cause and
Yeah.
making yourself uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh,
You reminded me of metaphor when people go on a diet, right? They go on a diet, they may lose the weight, they may look healthy, and now there's a choice. Are they going to go back how they ate? Then of course they will gain all the weight back. But with your story is that we didn't continue on a diet and kept losing weight. We didn't gain the weight. We just chose to do healthy choices for ourselves. So we are actually maintaining and growing the capacity, to be healthy.
I mean, I'm so proud of him.
Mm-hmm.
There's not many people that could do what he
Mm-hmm.
did and is doing, and it takes a strong person to do what he did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were times where, looking back, uh, I needed help. I had surgery. I needed help, and he really wasn't there. And we went through this whole process of IVF, and I'm very open about it. And he was here for me every step of the way, every shot, every little thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just it's nice to have him back.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you have, authentic Tyler back, who's not sabotaging or doesn't self-medicate, the consequences of hard job. So you have him. Yeah. And you sound like you truly, truly appreciate him for coming through for you.
Yeah, I do. I really, really do.
Yeah. How do you how do you take care of yourself? Any practices that you continue to um doing for you after Shatterproof or anything that helps you to manage stress for both of you?
The main thing is the program that I'm part of right now.
Mhm.
My biggest support with, you know, speaking to somebody privately and having a
Mhm.
group setting. It's really nice, and we're grateful that I have one in my area, and that's probably the biggest thing. Just having that group
Mhm.
support, somebody you can call, somebody that you're going to see in a week, somebody to keep you accountable for things.
Mhm.
It's cool having that. I tried the AA first time,
Mhm.
but what I have here with the first responders, it's great. And
It's huge. It's huge
I
what you're describing.
yes, I don't know if I got lucky or I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to argue with it, and I have it, so I'm going to use it. And that was a big thing. And I hate to say, but getting back to work, um, getting back into that routine, and putting yourself back in those situations. And I've been in similar situations, kind of what got me down to Florida the first time. Not as severe, and
Mhm.
not to that extent, but it was similar situations. And after you get the first one over with,
Mhm.
and I went to sleep that night without needing a drink or anything like that, that kind of just drove it home that I'm going to be okay. And it
Oh.
just got better after, and I got more and more comfortable. And you kind of forget about the habit, and
Mhm.
you form new habits. We go
Yeah.
for walks now. We're like the old couple in the neighborhood. We walk around, look at the houses. Um, it's great. We ride bikes. I started, playing with my car again.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And old hobbies just kind of come back. Last time I tried to force them back, tried to go right on the surfboard, right, do that stuff, and I
Mhm.
got myself discouraged. And this time I kind of just let's stop the drinking, stop the thinking like that, and start sleeping better and see where it brings it. And brought us here. And slowly things started coming back.
Very naturally, right?
Yeah. I tried to rip the band-aid off first with as you were talking about the diet. I just stopped eating for 10 days and lost weight and went right back to doing what I was doing. So this time I'm trying to eat healthy
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and not forcing myself to eat healthy, letting it gradually happen.
Yeah. Yeah, you speak the language of health, taking care of your health, having your own agency to choose, like, how you will improve your health. And I can see how your marriage is really nourished by your individual self-care and also how you show up for each other. Yeah. Mm.
It's been really great. I mean, I'm still doing my yoga, and
Mm-hmm.
I, the most important, well, it is important, but also what has helped us is we talk. It's we're very open. If there's something bothering me, he knows I've always been like this. I let it out. If there's something bothering him, he talks to me. So I think that's important, you know, when we're in a sober house, if there's things that come up for him, let's talk about it. If there's things that are coming up for me, let's talk about it. In the past it would just we would not discuss it.
Mm-hmm. It would just stop somewhere, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It would never been like resolved.
Yeah. Like I think it's important. you
Mhm. Yeah, everyone always say that communication, one of the most important things, but to really expedite it and not to get stuck somewhere in that process, it really just requires, partners really clarity and being present, so you don't just go in your head somewhere. And miss the bid for connection with your partner, because what you are, it's not only sober house and home that you created, but it's also a safe refuge. You can call it kind of safe haven, from which wherever you go into your work, the world, it's a different kind of experience than when your home itself is a place of hiding, or discontent. Yeah. Yeah. And then you can come from the wild, crazy world, and then I think I can see it right now. We are meeting at the end of a weekday, and there's a peacefulness around about you, and around you. So and that's just a week,
Hope it stays
Tuesday.
like that.
What did you say?
Let's hope it stays like that. No,
Yeah.
but yeah, we do. Our nights are very, if we're not in bed by 9:30, it's a late night.
Yeah.
So
We're this I'm just this is how it is. I mean, we just right? It's
and that's another way we manage stress. Just kind of, we don't have to do something. We don't have to go to the bar every night. We don't have
Mhm.
to go out and do
Mhm.
something
Mhm.
every night. And yeah, it's nice. I like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this calmness. We like this.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's where you grow, you thrive, you respond to life, as something that is to be grateful for, and from this calmness, you can see the beauty, you can enjoy life really.
yeah.
And yeah. I have a quick question because you mentioned Sam when Tyler was coming home, and I know we had several conversations with you and with other spouses in the support group, around trust,
Mm.
because there is really still that transition. You don't know whether it's okay to trust, how to trust, and
Mhm.
there are also what I call futuristic memories, because the brain will remind you how it went last time. So you are kind of projecting into the future. And I'm assuming you have somehow overcame the worry, and I wonder if you remember how you work through the initial first few months.
The first few months they were hard. They were hard, but that's when we really started to communicate, and
Mm-hmm.
I probably sounded like a broken record. Um, but I would ask, is everything okay? Or even a crack of a seltzer would bother me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it was something that I needed to tone down a little bit because he he just kept showing me
Mm-hmm.
his strength, and that's when my heightened, trust came out, and all the little worries kind of went away. They subsided. Because I mean, how are we supposed to heal if I don't put my faith and trust into him? And that's,
Yeah.
I really did. I put a lot of faith.
Mm-hmm.
I threw my hands up,
Yeah.
and the ball was in his court, and he worked it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I trust him fully,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
fully.
That's so beautiful. It's about trusting intuition rather than hearing the voice of, old trauma,
Yeah.
because it is for someone who is an adult child, of some circumstances and addiction in your family. You will have a dilemma to trust. It's a big risk to trust, right? But if your own healing is about risking it and knowing um, that you will be okay, no matter what Tyler will do, that you are gonna be okay.
And I
Mm.
think that was my struggle. I'm a big control person,
You
and
could say
so
freak.
In recovery.
and and I he really just opened my mind to being calmer, and taking it day by day, not looking at the past with everything. It doesn't do any good for the present, and
Yeah.
we yeah, it's been a process, but it's
Mhm.
it's it's been the most beautiful process.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And you sharing this beautiful process that it's worthy, the results, the outcome at the end of each day is worthy of your efforts and your work, and you're sharing it with others who may be just truly in the beginning of their mental health uh, restoration journey. Yeah, whether it's someone like in your shoes, Sam, or Tyler's, first responder. Mm.
Just don't give up. Don't give up, and keep the faith, and put the work in.
Mm-hmm.
Put the work in, because it's worth it.
Yeah. And that work, in case someone is still wondering on who is listening, like what that work is is something that you cannot answer just with yourself. You have to communicate with others. What do you do that works? It's just that work you see in others, and who seem successfully maintaining good, post traumatic growth, and they seem to be healthier than they were before, even years ago. So, what would you maybe any piece of advice, for the spouse and maybe the first responder who finally got the willingness to go?
Um, well, for the spouse and the first responder, it's all there's really no, well, first of all, do it.
Mhm.
If you're on the fence about it, do it. It was great. The best thing that's ever happened. And I didn't realize what it was like for her. And
Mhm.
she really didn't know what it was like for me. Um, I was feeling a certain way at the time. It was horrible. And I knew that things weren't good between us, and
Mhm.
I wanted to fix it. I couldn't. I physically couldn't do it. I don't know why, and that's what really got me, knowing that I was doing something wrong and I couldn't fix it myself. And
Mhm.
I tried to do it and I couldn't do it. And just that, really just giving up and saying, you know what, I got to do this. That
Mhm.
was hard. The whole time it was just like, well, why don't you just not drink tonight? Like, I wish. And just hearing that it was hard because I knew that's all I needed to do, and I couldn't do it. I needed that
Mhm.
night to go to bed. Like, it was hard, and to
Mhm.
express that and have somebody understand that feeling is tough. And you know what? She kind of understood it, and I
Mhm.
didn't know what she was going through. Having her just seeing me kind of just falling apart. I couldn't even imagine what that felt like. And I never really thought about that, as she didn't think about what I was going through. And that's really just have an understanding of each other. Try
Mhm.
not to get mad at each other, because it's very easy to have your own opinion, but everybody's opinion is different and everybody works a different way.
Mhm.
And really understanding that's what kind of helps.
Mhm.
Don't get mad at me, and I'm not going to get mad at you, and we're both going to be okay after this. So I think the mutual understanding with each other of what each other's going through, I think that's the biggest thing that they have to understand. And the biggest word of advice, try not to get mad.
Mhm. Yeah.
Force
It
somebody down there if they don't want, because it's just going to make you hate each other even more. That person's going to have to want it. Um,
what you just shared with listeners is actually real science. If you can find empathy and deeper understanding, in
right.
spite of hurting, but if you can find understanding for your loved one's behavior, that encourages that actually the behavior you want in them, the desired behavior, the change, motivation for sobriety, because the people with drinking problem, or other kind of addictive behaviors, they already beat themselves up, harshly. So if they can get understanding from the most important person in their lives, not colluding or enabling, just understanding, addiction is a medical, condition, and it does make sense when someone is, not that it's a good choice, but it makes sense if someone is absolutely, internally disorganized with all the trauma and lack of sleep and lots of unprocessed sensations, due to trauma at work. It makes sense that they have to do something, and they will have to get help for that, because it's not the optimal way of living, but it was self-medication for the time being. I mean, it's
And I didn't even know to the extent
Mhm.
of it. Um,
Mhm.
I just I didn't know what the heck to do.
Mhm. Yeah.
I didn't do anything. It was
I
staying home, and
just
it
staying
was
home,
just,
sleeping,
yeah.
sleeping,
Mhm.
sleeping, and I didn't know. I I I I I'm
And
speechless. I didn't even know how to help him.
Yeah.
like that for no.
Months.
I just
Mhm.
that's not me as a person, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't want to act like that, and that's what I kept trying to tell her. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't know how to stop it, and that's really, I don't know. It was a reset and me just kind of getting back into the swing of
Mhm.
things. Don't want to blame alcoholism on the mental health, or the mental health and the alcohol. It's they go hand in hand, and that's the choices I made at that time, and this is where I'm at. But getting rid of one of them that I know I can control now, that's a good start. And the mental health kind of just follows.
Mm.
You know, eat healthier, you get healthier. So
Yeah.
we keep going back to dietitian stuff, but yeah, it's yeah, but I'm still learning too.
Yeah. Me too. We are all learning. I would like to,
Learning
guys, yeah.
I'll take that.
I would like to, guys, follow you even next year, like just so you have to behave, because in a year I would like to have a conversation with you what's happening next, and I cannot thank you enough, for coming on and sharing with the world, your post-traumatic growth and just your secret sauce for marriage. Who would say that? Let's get sober together, and just peacefulness, calmness that you created. Safe haven at home. And I really, really appreciate you for sharing, part of your story and this amazing year of maintaining the art of maintenance of mental health and relational health as well. Mm. Yeah. Thank
Well,
you again.
thank you, Ivana,
Thank
too.
you.
It was really cool to, have a class with you in Florida, knowing that you spoke and nothing was said in class, nothing was shared, but it
Yeah.
was cool to see.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you are saying that. It's that
I was telling a story, you knew who I was talking about.
yes, yes, exactly. Yeah. It was, you really put both of you really the effort in getting as much of treatment at FHE Health at Shatterproof program as much we offer. And the results are remarkable. And we are great fans and championing you on this journey. And I cannot wait to share this story also with the Shatterproof team and people who still remember you.
Tell everybody we said hi.
Yes, we will. Thank you for tuning in. The First Responder Families podcast is sponsored by Shatterproof at FHE Health, a specialized treatment program for first responders with mental health and/or substance use issues. For more information about our show and our services, check out FHEHealth.com. The podcast website also has a place where you can share your ideas or questions for future shows. If you are struggling, we want to help. Feel free to call us at 844-714-3403 or visit FHEHealth.com. We look forward to having you join us for our podcast next month. Until then, take care.